you're interested in spiritual growth and spiritual development, then you want to be a spiritual high performer. That's right. You can be a high performer in so many different areas of your life, like in every life arena. So why not in the spiritual arena? It just makes sense, right? Because when you're working towards high performance, you're working on your personal development and your personal growth, and you're trying to level up your habits, your mindsets, all of those things so that you can succeed, right? So you can succeed at a higher level and so that you can reach your goals. Well, it's no different when you have spiritual goals or dreams of being psychic or tapping into your intuition or being spiritually guided or being an animal communicator or whatever it is, right? And so it's no different. And the more you work to level up your abilities when it comes to spirituality, the higher your performance will be there. That's a performance arena as well. And so it doesn't really matter what it is you want to be working on. In the spiritual realm, becoming a high performer is going to help. So most people think about high performance in terms of athletes or CEOs or anyone who is working to excel and succeed at a higher level. And so they may not feel like high performance is for them. Especially if you're spiritual. You may not think it's for you, but it is. Because high performance is all about stepping into your best self, reaching your highest potential. And you are a spiritual being having a human experience. So reaching your potential is not just about human potential, it's about spiritual potential as well. And so we want to be working towards that potential. We come into this world and we're born into this world and we forget who we are, that we are spiritual beings having a human experience, that we are spirit or soul housed in a physical body. We forget that. And we spend most of our lives trying to remember that and to access the spiritual side of ourselves. And our mind gets in the way because the mind is a physical function, right? The soul is a spirit, or if you want to call it spirit, is a spiritual function, right? But the mind is a physical function, and the mind has lots of mechanisms to keep us safe and to keep us doing what we've always done. And because of that, it stands in the way very often of our ability to excel in the spiritual realm. And there's a lot going on the unconscious level that we don't even know about, and that prevents us from moving forward with our spiritual growth, our spiritual development. So what I want to talk to you about today is this idea that you can become a spiritual high performer and that you can reach heightened levels of spiritual awareness, consciousness, expansion, all of that, right? But it comes from you working on that consistently. So how do you do that? How do you become a spiritual high performer? So there are 5 different ways that I can think of right off the top of my head. And the first one is to connect daily with your higher self or your intuition. You can even say your spirit guides, but you want to be taking the time to actually connect and doing it daily. And so that can look like meditation, like prayer, like journaling, like using oracle cards, using a pendulum. So you're just trying to see if you can connect. And sometimes we don't know what we're connecting with, or we believe in spirit guides and let's just say spirit guides, and we want to connect with spirit guides. So we can do that through a guided visualization. You can find lots of them online exactly for that. But you might want to connect with your higher self, right? And so I know people who do inner voice work, right? And that's really what's happening, is they're trying to tap into their higher self or their intuition by speaking to that side of themselves. And you can do that in a visualization or a meditation as well. You can just simply use your mind's eye and imagine what it would be like to talk to your higher self. What would it be like to talk to the part of you that, or meet the part of you that is your intuition or your soul? What would it be like to meet your spirit guides or your archangels, or to talk with your ancestors, right? And so all of this can be done through imagination and meditation and guided visualization, that sort of thing. Okay, and the more you do that, the more you'll feel every day that you're connected, right? So it's a practice. The second thing you can do is ask for guidance. And of course, connecting with your inner guidance or your spiritual guides or whatever you want to call it is awesome. And it's one thing altogether. It's totally different to be asking and receiving guidance from God, intuition, higher self, spirit team, right? And so you have to ask. You have to ask all the time for this guidance and to be connected. Ask to be connected, right, to your higher self. And then watch and listen to what happens. So a lot of people, like myself included, we hear things when we ask. I hear a voice inside my head, it sounds just like me. Some people hear it outside their left ear or something like that, or behind their right shoulder. But basically, you want to pay attention, and you can ask for signs or watch for signs. Some people look for angel signs like the number 1111 or 444 or anything like that. But you can actually, and feathers are often seen as signs of spiritual guidance, or them being close. But you can ask for something specific. I once asked for an owl as a symbol, or a sign, I'm sorry, and took a while for me to see it initially, and then there was a big period where I didn't see owls, and then I saw owls all the time. Matter of fact, we had them on our property. So you want to keep working on that, and know that it can sometimes take time to get an answer to your question, and sometimes you negate it. That's your mind, right? And you negate it and say, no, that's not a message, and it probably is. So just know that you have to also open to receive. And you can ask some simple questions at first, like, should I reduce my gluten intake? Should I go to the concert? Anything like that, and ask, see if you get an answer. And you can just wait for an answer, and it might take a little while, or you can ask for a sign. That might take a while too, but it might happen immediately. You never know. But you have to ask. You have to ask, okay? Then number 3 is to trust that you are spiritually guided and connected. No, sorry, I'm looking down because I have a few notes. So you have to trust, because that's essential. Because if you're not trusting, then basically you're probably negating whatever information you're getting, or the sense that you are connected, or that you are suddenly, having psychic messages or something like that, right? So you have to really trust and have faith that what you're asking for is happening, right? That you are connecting to something higher, that you are having your questions answered, that you are getting signs, that whatever it is you want, that you're more presence, more consciousness, whatever it is you're wanting on a spiritual level, you have to trust that that is happening. Otherwise, like I said, you're going to negate it. And there's the old saying, the universe has your back. And so when things are happening, you have to keep reminding yourself that they're happening for you. So if something happens that makes you feel like, whatever I'm doing isn't working spiritually, ask yourself, is that true, or is this something happening for you? Does the universe have your back, and it's happening for you? So that's another thing, faith and trust. I call it trust, but you can call it faith. Faith that something bigger than you is there, and that when you ask to connect with it, you will connect with it. The next thing, number 4, is to be still. So this was taught to me by someone recently. Stillness, spending a day or 4 hours just being still. And that doesn't mean meditating. It doesn't mean visualizing. It doesn't mean doing affirmations. It doesn't mean journaling. It's not doing anything but being still. Being still and just paying attention. Just be aware of what your mind is doing, what your body is doing, and just don't do anything else. You just sit and be. Very hard for most of us. We are human beings, but we think we're human doings, and so we're always busy doing. And this is an opportunity to stop. And if you practice stillness, even after, try it for longer periods, or start with shorter periods, and then go to longer periods, or longer periods to shorter periods. But every day, if you can sit in stillness for a little while, you'll find you'll definitely progress your level of spirituality, your level of spiritual growth. And the last thing is to use personal growth to advance your spiritual growth. Because, as I said, your mind is usually the thing in the way, and it's your mindsets and habits and ways of thinking, beliefs, all of that. That's what's holding you back from your spiritual advancement. So if you want to level up and be a high performer spiritually, you need to level up and be a high performer personally, from a personal growth perspective. So the more work you do on your thoughts, your subconscious beliefs, your values, your habits, ways of reacting rather than responding, the more work you do around that related to your spiritual growth, the more you will grow spiritually. And that's what a spiritual high performer does, is they apply the same, they work on themselves. Again, we're human beings. You have to work on the human aspect, your subconscious mind, for instance, maybe with hypnosis. And then that is going to facilitate your spiritual side being able to blossom and grow. So there are lots of things you can do, including, like I said, hypnosis. You can also make a decision about who you want to be as a spiritual being. So maybe you want to be psychic, right? And so make that decision that I am a psychic person, or I'm an intuitive person, and then that becomes your identity. That's who I am. I am psychic. I am a psychic person. Then what does that person do, right? Maybe they listen to the guidance they get. Maybe they start doing tarot readings. I don't know, but you do the things that person would do. You develop those habits because they're aligned with your new identity, right? So if you're an intuitive person, then you follow your intuition. That's what you do. You receive it, and you don't doubt it, and you follow your intuition, and then you will have that will be what you have. You have a life and maybe a career, I don't know, as a psychic. You have spiritual growth, right? So you have to actually choose an identity, and then the habits and beliefs will align with that. The other thing you can do is you can actually, if you have no idea, like what would somebody who's psychic do, you can actually think about people like maybe Wayne Dyer, or Gabby Bernstein, or Deepak Chopra, or anyone like that, and ask yourself, sit down maybe with a pad of paper and ask yourself, what are these people's characteristics? Like, what makes them spiritual high performers? And what other characteristics they have, what are the habits they would have. You may not know for sure, but just imagine, what kind of habits would they have? What would their day look like, right? What would they believe? What would they value? Then you can take that information and say, okay, so if I was going to be like Wayne Dyer or Gabby Bernstein, I would do those same things, and then you do them. And those are behaviors that are in alignment with you being a spiritual high performer. And then the last thing about this to practice, because high performers know that nothing happens like this. They are committed, and they keep their word to themselves, and they develop the habits, right? So they practice, and that is what you need to do. You need to practice connecting every day to something higher. You need to practice asking and receiving answers spiritually. You need to practice stillness. You need to practice your high performance. You need to practice trusting and having faith that it's all happening for you. All of these things are a practice, right? So that's why we call it spiritual practice, right? So the more you practice, the higher your level of proficiency will become, right? And so you will level up your spiritual growth, your spiritual development, and you'll become a spiritual high performer. So that's what I wish for you today, is for you to take these 5 tips and put them into use so that you move towards becoming a spiritual high performer. I'm Nina Amir. I'm the Inspiration to Creation Coach. I am a transformational catalyst. I am intuitive. I offer both certified high performance coaching, so I am a certified high performance coach. I also offer inspired results coaching, which is a combo of personal and spiritual growth. So I bring my intuition into that, and well, I do that anyway, but it's a little more on the woo-woo side of things. And I offer both of these in my Inspired Creator community. You can click on the link above and check out the Inspired Creator community. You can then work with me on your personal growth and your spiritual growth, because high performance coaching is personal growth and development. Inspired Results training and coaching are spiritual growth primarily. So you can, in the Inspired Creator community, work towards becoming a spiritual high performer. I hope you'll join me in the Inspired Creator community. And until next time, go out there and achieve more inspired results.